Let me take you back 6 months. I was on top of the world, at least, that's what I thought. My name's Ava, and at the time, I was engaged to a man who, by all accounts, had it all. His name was Ryan, and he was everything I ever dreamed of: ambitious, charming, successful, and in love with me, or so I believed. He worked on Wall Street. You know the type: tailored suits, late nights at the office, fast cars, faster deals. I used to admire that about him. His drive. His hustle. The way he carried himself like he had already conquered the world. I was no slouch myself. I'm a graphic designer with a successful client base, a nice apartment in Brooklyn, and dreams of starting a family. Ryan and I had been together for nearly 4 years, and just last summer, he proposed during a weekend getaway in the Hamptons. It was perfect. We laughed, we kissed, and he slipped a ring on my finger that nearly blinded me in the sunlight. "You and me," he said, "we're going to build something big." Little did I know that something big included a lie so massive, it would shatter everything. After the proposal, Ryan and I started house hunting. We'd been renting a high-rise condo in Manhattan, but he insisted we needed a home to call our own, somewhere to build our future. He was obsessed with finding the right place, scrolling through listings late into the night, texting realtors between meetings. I loved how into it he was. "This is going to be our legacy," he'd say. Eventually, we found it. A beautiful brownstone just outside the city, 3 stories, red brick, ivy on the sides, bay windows. It had that old New York soul with just enough modern charm. I fell in love immediately. We put in an offer. Ryan paid the deposit. The place was ours. But we hadn't moved in yet. The seller needed 2 more weeks to vacate, and during that time, Ryan claimed he needed to handle some final paperwork and make arrangements while I focused on packing and preparing the interior designs. That was my first red flag. He started spending more time at the house, even staying there overnight once or twice, saying he had meetings or late-night Zoom calls with international investors. I didn't think much of it. I trusted him. I mean, why wouldn't I? I always believed in intuition, but I also always believed Ryan was different. Loyal. Safe. But then something started to shift. He became more protective of his phone. He stopped updating me about the house. When I asked if I could come by and take measurements for furniture, he said, "Not yet. It's still a mess inside. Let me clean it up first." He was cagey in a way I couldn't explain. And the final straw? He missed our closing dinner, a small celebration we'd planned to mark the official handoff of the property. His excuse? A last-minute meeting with a hedge fund partner. I didn't buy it. So, the next morning, I packed up coffee and croissants, put on a cute outfit, and drove out to the new house with one goal in mind: surprise him. Maybe I'd been too suspicious. Maybe he really was just overworked and trying to give me the perfect life. I wanted to believe that. But what I saw when I walked through that front door made sure I never could again. I still remember the silence. The way my heels clicked against the newly polished hardwood floors. The smell of fresh paint and expensive cologne. And then, the sound of laughter. A woman's laughter. I followed it, slowly, my heartbeat echoing louder with each step. Toward the stairs. Up to the 2nd floor. Past the guest room. Down the hallway. The master bedroom door was open just a crack. I could see inside. Them. Together. Ryan. Shirtless. Sitting on the edge of our new bed, with a woman straddling his lap, arms around his neck. And not just any woman, his assistant. The same one he always described as annoying, overly ambitious, and a little too chatty. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared. Until Ryan noticed me. His face went white. The woman turned, gasped, and tried to cover herself with a sheet. Ava, wait, it's not what it looks like, he said. Not what it looks like. That line. That pathetic, overused line. I didn't say a word. I just turned around and walked away. I didn't go back to our condo. I drove straight to my sister's apartment in Queens, shaking the whole way. She opened the door, took one look at my face, and pulled me into her arms. I stayed there for 3 days. Ignored all of Ryan's calls. Deleted his texts without reading them. Eventually, I had my lawyer friend send him a formal notice. The engagement was off. He could keep the house, the furniture, even the stupid espresso machine I loved. I didn't want any of it. All I wanted was out. A few weeks later, I learned more. Turns out Ryan had been cheating for months, maybe longer. Not just with his assistant, but also with a client liaison from London, a cocktail waitress from one of those high-end rooftop lounges, and possibly others. His work trips? Lies. His late meetings? More lies. The man who said he wanted to build a legacy with me was building a harem behind my back. It was humiliating. But it was also freeing. Because for the first time in years, I saw things clearly. I saw him clearly. And I realized I'd been in love with an illusion. The following months were hard. I had to rebuild everything, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I cut off mutual friends who didn't want to take sides. I left our old neighborhood. I stopped checking his socials. Instead, I focused on me. I took a solo trip to Italy. Learned how to make real pasta. Spent hours sketching in cafes and talking to strangers with stories deeper than mine. I came back with a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. And a few weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. From Ryan. It was handwritten. On expensive stationery. It started like this: Ava, I know I don't deserve your time, but I need to say this. I didn't read the rest. I burned it. Some stories don't need closure. Some stories are better left unread, unspoken, and buried beneath the ashes of what could have been. 3 months after the breakup, I got a message from someone I didn't expect, Ryan's assistant. The one I caught with him. Her name was Elise. She apologized. Said she didn't know we were engaged. That Ryan told her we were on a break and that I had moved out. She'd found out the truth later, and by then, he'd ghosted her too. She was heartbroken. I didn't respond. But her message confirmed what I already knew. Ryan was a predator. Not just a cheater, but a manipulator. Someone who built a kingdom of lies and thought he'd never be caught. Well, he was. And now? He's alone in the house that was supposed to be ours. Today, I'm writing this from my new apartment, a little place in Soho with big windows, creaky floors, and a sense of calm I've never known before. I have my own coffee machine. My own furniture. My own space. No lies. No illusions. Just me. And you know what? That's enough. I may not have the brownstone. Or the flashy fiancé. Or the Pinterest wedding I once planned down to the napkin color. But I have the truth. And I have peace. And sometimes, that's the most beautiful home you can build.